Welcome to the Simplicity of Wellness podcast. I'm Amy White, holistic nutritionist, life coach, and weight loss specialist. If you're tired of overcomplicating food, battling your body, and starting over every Monday, you're in the right place. Here we talk about what actually works, simple shifts in food, mindset, and habits that lead to lasting change. Let's dive in. Welcome back, Simplifiers. I've been thinking a lot about conversations lately. Not the conversations we have with our husbands, our kids, or the woman standing next to us at pickleball. I've been thinking about the conversation you've been having with your body. Or maybe the conversation you haven't been having. Because here's what I've noticed. Almost every conversation I have lately eventually lands on GLP-1 medications. Someone's sister's taking one. A friend has lost 30 pounds. A neighbor's talking about Ozempic. Someone at work just started Zepbound. It feels like they're everywhere. And if I'm honest, I think that's making a lot of women quietly question themselves. Not because they're against medication, but because they're wondering, am I the only one who still wants to do this without medication? Maybe that's you. Maybe you're surrounded by women taking GLP-1 medications and you've started wondering if you're the last woman standing. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking, is this just what women our age have to do now? If you've had that thought, know this. You're definitely not alone. I think there are a lot more women asking that question than you may realize. The women choosing medication have a story to tell. The women choosing another route often keep that story to themselves. So I wanted to make this episode for you. Not because I'm against GLP-1 medications, because I'm not. I think they're an incredible medical advancement, and for the right woman, they can absolutely improve health and quality of life. This isn't an anti-GLP-1 episode. It's an invitation to have a bigger conversation because I think every woman deserves to know she has more than one option. I've coached hundreds of women over the years and most of them are in their 50s. One thing I hear over and over again is this: nothing works anymore. I hardly eat anything. I'm doing everything right. My metabolism is shot. Maybe this is just what happens after 50. Or lately, maybe I just need a GLP-1. Well, this is my podcast, so I'm going to tell you what I think. I don't actually think women have run out of options. I think women are confused. And when something stops making sense, our brains immediately start making up stories to explain it. I'm getting older. I have no willpower. Nothing works. This is just my body now. Those stories feel true because we don't have another explanation. But what if they aren't the whole story? I've been thinking about relationships lately too. Every long-term relationship goes through seasons where conversations become messy. One person thinks they're being perfectly clear. The other person completely misunderstands. Nobody is trying to create conflict. Nobody is trying to hurt the relationship. But misunderstandings pile up. Frustration grows. Assumptions take over. And before long, everyone thinks they know what's happening. But most of the time, they don't. I think that's where so many women find themselves with their bodies. Not because their body failed them and not because they failed their body, but because somewhere along the way, the conversation changed. When you were 35, your body had one set of needs. Then came perimenopause, then menopause, estrogen declined, insulin sensitivity changed, your body became more likely to store fat around your middle, sleep changed, recovery changed, appetite changed, blood sugar became more sensitive. Of course the conversation changed. Why wouldn't it? The problem is nobody handed us a translation guide. We knew our hormones were changing. We just didn't know what our body was trying to tell us because of those changes. So we kept responding to our 55-year-old body the same way we responded to our 35-year-old body. And then we wondered why nothing worked anymore. Here's what I believe. Your body has never stopped talking to you. It's talking all day long. It talks through your energy level, your sleep, your mood, your appetite, your cravings, even the scale. Not because the scale defines your worth, but because it's one piece of feedback. I actually teach my clients something called the body control panel. It's a simple way to notice what your body's telling you every day, because your body doesn't communicate in sentences. It communicates in signals. How's your energy? How's your sleep? How are your cravings? Are you satisfied after meals? Or are you thinking about food all day? Those aren't random things happening to you. That's feedback. Your body's giving you information, but here's the important part. Listening isn't enough. You have to know how to interpret what you're hearing so you know how to respond. So what do I mean by interpret what you're hearing? Here's what it looks like in real life. Your body says, I didn't sleep well last night. You hear, I have no willpower today. Your body says, your blood sugar's been all over the place. You hear, why can't I stop craving sugar? Your body says, I'm retaining water after a weekend away. You hear, I gained fat. Your body says, that breakfast wasn't enough protein. You hear, I'm hungry again. I must have no self-control. See the difference? Your body has been giving you information all along. The problem isn't that it stopped talking. It's that nobody ever taught us how to interpret what it was saying, so we made up our own stories. This is where I think my work differs from a lot of what's being talked about right now. GLP-1 medications change one part of the conversation. They reduce appetite. For many women, that's incredibly helpful. Sometimes it's exactly the right tool. What I do is different. I teach you how to understand the conversation your body has been trying to have with you all along. I teach why one breakfast keeps you full until lunch and another has you looking for a snack by 10 o'clock. Why one bad night's sleep can make you crave sugar all day. Why vacation shows up on the scale. Why stress changes your appetite. I give you flexible guidelines, structure, direction, but not another rigid plan you have to follow perfectly. Because the goal isn't to depend on my guidelines forever. The goal is to understand your body well enough that you know what to do next. One of my favorite moments with clients usually happens around the middle of my program. A woman will come to coaching and say, Amy, I gained 3 pounds this week. Then she'll smile and say, I know exactly why. We were on vacation, we ate out every night, I had wine, I didn't sleep very well, I'm retaining water. I know this isn't fat. Guess what I hear in that? Peace. A few months earlier, that same woman would have stepped on the scale and thought, nothing works, I failed, I'll start over on Monday. What happened on the scale didn't change. Her understanding of what she saw on the scale did. When the confusion goes away, the guilt starts to disappear. The frustration softens. Because understanding replaces stories with explanations. Instead of, I'm failing, it's, I didn't sleep. Instead of nothing works, it's I've been under a lot of stress. Instead of I'm broken, it's my protein has been low this week. Those are completely different conversations. And here's something I say to my clients all the time. When you understand the conversation your body's having with you, there are very few surprises. When there are very few surprises, there's very little drama. You stop making your body the enemy. There's just information. And information gives you confidence. So let's come back to where we started. GLP-1 medications. My goal today wasn't to tell you whether you should take one. That's a conversation between you and your healthcare provider, based on your health, your goals, and what's right for you. My goal was much simpler than that. It was to remind you that understanding your body still matters, no matter what approach you choose. Because whether you're taking a GLP-1 or not, your body is still talking to you. It's talking through your sleep, your energy, your mood, your appetite, your cravings, the scale. Those signals don't stop being important. In fact, understanding them is one of the most valuable skills you can develop because it's a skill you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. One of the things I learned after years of working with women is that confidence doesn't come from seeing a certain number on the scale. Confidence comes from understanding. Confidence comes from accumulated evidence. Week after week, you start noticing you're sleeping better. You're satisfied longer after meals. Your afternoon cravings aren't as loud. You have more energy. The scale starts making more sense. That's accumulated evidence. And accumulated evidence is what builds confidence. It's hard to trust something you don't understand. But once you understand it, trust starts to grow. And when you understand the conversation your body's having with you, there are very few surprises. When there are very few surprises, there's very little drama. There's just information. Information gives you confidence. Confidence helps you make good decisions. Good decisions repeated over time change your health. If you're ready to stop guessing, if you're ready to understand what your body's been trying to tell you, If you're ready for flexible guidelines, practical nutrition, and a supportive community of women learning these same skills together, I'd love to invite you to join us inside Hangry to Healthy, my 12-week group coaching program hosted in my school membership. Together, we'll build the skills that support your metabolism. We'll replace confusion with understanding, because when you understand your body, you know what to do next. And when you know what to do next, you don't need to start over every Monday. Step by step, you'll build the confidence that comes from knowing what to do next. You'll find the link to my Hangry to Healthy membership in the show notes. I'd love to have you join us. The next group starts July 15th. Thanks for spending this time with me today. I'll be back in the next episode.